Julian Austin back to me on SoCountry.ca. George Elliott guesting with us, the voice of the Princeton Posse. Not too much voice going out. That's a sad story you can tell our audience about. That's
the webcast thing has been really kind of interesting for me because I'm just going to give you a little history if I can. 5 seasons ago, believe it or not, it's been 5 years now. Kevin here, who does the webcast for the Lakers, you may want to keep him a little ways away so we don't get into a fist fight here. No, actually, I've known Kevin for quite some time too. So anyway, I was going to say it was 5 seasons ago I was first approached by the Posse to do a webcast. And in my radio career, which spanned 23 years, I had never done play-by-play. That's the only thing I never did. And I thought, well, gee, that would be kind of intriguing. And so I jumped on board and, through some crash and burns like you went through with your system here, I eventually figured out the easy thing to do is just describe the game. And so that's all I do is I just describe the game and add a little flavor, and we just have ourselves a blast. Anyway, so to bring you up to speed, last Friday night was a game against Osoyoos, which would have been a battle for first place. And, some pressure, and we go up. My wife helps with Twitter on the webcast when we do the webcast. And we go up to check the gear and stuff, and it turns out that we had found that some of the gear had been vandalized. And so to the point where we could not do the webcast. And the camera worked, but I couldn't get audio to the rest of the system. So basically the mixing board was cooked. Somebody decided to do something and ended up cooking the mixing board. Anyway, as it turns out, we ended up without a webcast, and so we have a lot of out-of-town kids on our team. And there's a real network of, I call them the Posse mums, and there's dads too, but it's mostly Posse mums who follow us on Twitter, and they communicate back and forth. And I was at home watching this develop on my iPod, and before the game was over, some of the mums had banded together to start a fundraiser. And I thought, well, that was kind of cool. And Gina, we spoke of just moments ago from Outback Jacks, kind of kick-started a fundraiser in Princeton as well. And I posted it on Facebook. The Posse has a Facebook page. My business Newsleader has a Facebook page. I've got everyone's on Facebook. So, it seems to be the only way to get anything out now, unless you have an internet radio station, and which not all of us do. And so we use Facebook instead. And as it turns out, before I knew it, things started to kind of explode. I had one guy come into my office Saturday morning, the following morning after this had happened, with a $100 donation. And a couple other people came in with $20 donations, and Posse mums are sending money. And we had a guy, Early Bird in Princeton, has offered to provide us with all the security items that we need to keep our stuff safe once we replace it, and so on and so forth. So it's been really kind of cool. And so where I'm going with this is, as sad as it is, it shows the character of a community when people band together in times of trouble, whatever that might be, if, say, a family loses a home or whatever the case may be. And I certainly am not trying to compare our small issue to losing a home, but people have banded together. Getting together to just try to make things better. And I think that is so cool about living in a small town. But I'm sure it happens anywhere. It's just in a small town, sometimes it's more obvious.
What do you think, though? Was the rink broken into overnight, or was it while an attendant was there? I mean, we're kind of up in the corner. I know where the broadcast is.
You didn't hear me say this. It's just between you and me. Okay. I suspect something happened during one of the other events hosted at the arena.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, they'll probably find out. It's not that big a town.
No, and it's all over the Newsleader that comes out later today, so I think people will probably respond, hopefully.
You've got another form of information out there aside from the Newsleader.
Oh, my.
The internet fund going too, don't you?
Yeah, this internet thing I have had a great deal of trouble trying to figure out. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a dinosaur. I'm not sure what it is. Again, since I don't have an internet radio station at my disposal, I've had to kind of, wing it with other things. And I lost a whole lot of money on the internet at one point, and I thought, why am I wasting my time doing this? And then one day, talking to a buddy of mine, Spencer Coyne, who actually writes in the Newsleader for us and is our part-time sales guy, he and I, we've known each other for years. And he's like you. He used to listen to me on the radio when he was a kid, right? So, we have some history, kind of disconnected history, but we have some history. So Spencer now works for me, which is really kind of a treat. And he's a brilliant kid. And he's not a kid, but to me he's a kid. Anyway, he's brilliant. And I have a bunch of different internet domain names that I like to, have. just a name will hit me and I'll just register it. So I ended up registering one called newsbc.ca. And I thought, wow, what a cool name. I kind of liked it, so I've registered it, and I was just kind of sitting on it, trying to figure out what to do. And I was telling this to Spencer, and he mentioned to me, he said, wow, you should just put a whole bunch of news feeds together and just put up a site with that. And I thought, who's going to look at that? And I forgot about it, so about a few days later, I'm thinking, what should I do with this? And I went back to kind of Spencer's idea, and I basically built a website with dozens of different feeds on there, and that's all it is. So I've got regional news. Penticton Herald charges you to subscribe to them online. You can get their feed for free on newsbc.ca.
Through the stories that are put on it?
Their headline stories. Their headline stories are on newsbc.ca for free. Kelowna Courier, same thing. So I've got a whole bunch of regional newspapers on one page. I've got British Columbia News, The Province, The Sun, Castanet, you name it. There's a bunch of different things on there for regional. Then on national, I've got national feeds. I've got sports feeds like TSN, ESPN, CBS News. I've got major news networks from the States on there. I've got world news, including, get this, Al Jazeera, Pravda, Moscow Times, all these things. So if you want to, and if that's not enough, there's an entertainment page, People Magazine, TMZ.com, all these guys. So I've got a real massive collection a massive collection of feeds all on this site, newsbc.ca.
I've seen it. It's easy to get around too.
And the best part is there's one guy who wanted to put an ad on there that, between you and me, has actually ended up paying for the website. So, and all the feeds are live, updated live. I don't even have to look at it, to be honest with you. It is,
perfect.
Low maintenance. I mean, I go in frequently just to check and make sure things are working, but yeah, it's newsbc.ca. It was, thank you, Spencer, for the idea.
Good news staff guy. Conversation about what's happening in the Upper Similkameen. George Elliott comes to town for this one.